Okay, so let's start with the end in mind. So can everyone see my screen here with this browser in it?
Yep.
Okay, great. So what I want to start with here is to show you two different examples of videos that we've done, because the two last meetups, the Ancestry one and the Vivint one, we're going to use different ways of putting them together because of the way the assets turned out. So the first one I want to show you, this is Growing and Leading Product Leaders with Dan Lawyer. If you haven't seen this video, this is a great video. Dan Lawyer is an awesome product leader, and he covers things that are, I think, very important to leadership and product management. Anyway, this one was at Ancestry, and the technology we used to record it was a Zoom video conference. So this is before we had the HDMI recorder, and we had to install software. At this point, we were trying to install software on each presenter's machine to capture the video and then stream it back to another computer to record it. Okay? So we learned that caused some problems, but here's what it looks like when you do it. So if you see what we've got here, the format was the slides in the front, and then you have this Zoom, the presenter, camera up here in the upper right. Okay, and the problem that we had, besides the software issue, well, getting the software on people's machines, is if you look at things like this, Dan was doing a poll. So what happened here is that the Zoom video conference thought that this slide that you're seeing right now was the one that we should be recording, but Poll Everywhere does some magic with the video, and so up on the screen it actually looks different than what we are capturing in the slides. It looks, if you look up in the corner now, you'll see the word cloud going on automatically. But anyway, the slide itself was captured with this. So anyway, there were some problems with using software. So the reason I bring that up is just that, sometimes as a last resort, we may have to use it, which is what happened at the Ancestry meetup number 124, but it could lead to problems. And so anyway, okay, does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So what happened at Ancestry was that they were trying to get the camera to work correctly, and there was a problem with the card, and they couldn't record on the card. So Braden was like, he whipped out Zoom, got it set up, and was able to hook the camera up to his thing, so they captured something. They got it working just as the presentation was starting. So anyway, good kudos to him for coming up with a better way of doing it. But that's, anyway, what we captured looks just like this. So even though we have the slides separately, we don't have a good view of the presenters, so we won't be mixing it like we've been doing on some of the other ones.
So did the software put did you still have to do post-production work to put the video there, or was that part of the software doing that live?
Yeah, that's part of the software doing it live. So Zoom did that. So we didn't do any post-production on this.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So the second one I want to show you is, let's do the Jared Spool one here. So this is what our more recent ones look like. So we have that kind of beginning cover image that Ben does a great job of putting together for us for each one of the meetups, and he uses it for the announcing the meetups and stuff. But it also makes a great cover image for the video post production. I want to show you this. So what we do, if I skip to here. Now, if you watch the screen in the background, you'll see the slide and the screen are in sync. Did you guys all see how that worked? This screen back here was in sync with this slide?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we have that cool little effect that splits the screen, kind of an animation going on there, and then the slide on the left is really easy to see, and then the slide up on the in the background you can see. We use the slide in the background to make sure that the video of the slides that we're capturing is in sync with the slide as he's talking. Okay. And you'll see how we do that later on.
So don't be afraid to go a little wider at the front so you can see the screen and as they're starting. Is that what you're suggesting?
Not necessarily, just that somewhere near the beginning of the video, you want to make sure you get a screen click, okay, in the background. If the setup, most of the setups have the screens in the front just like this, and it's really easy to grab a corner. But if he was doing something where a screen was completely out of the picture and it was just him there, then we want to do some way of being able to get that screen in sync. I'm not sure what you do if that happened, but anyway.
What do you mean by that? A screen click?
So if you watch back, he's walking around now, and he's gonna like press his clicker, and what we're gonna see is the screen behind him on the screen. It will change when he advances the slide, and then see, like that just happened right there. And then so what we're dealing with here, two different images. The image on the left here is what we captured with the HDMI recorder. It's coming out of his computer and capturing whatever his computer is showing on the screen. The image on the right is the camera taking a picture of it.
Okay, so how do they get out of sync?
So we start the recording of the HDMI recorder maybe 2 or 3 minutes before we start, and we start the camera at maybe a different time. And so when we bring them into post-production, we want to make sure that they both line up on the timeline so that when he hits the clicker, the slide on the left here changes at the same time as the slide behind him. And
okay,
that way
that's what you mean, grabbing the screen click. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Any other questions? Okay. The last thing we've got then is, let me just fast forward here to the end. We have one more effect that we do here at the end. So at this point here, we'd, he could open it up for questions, and then we'd capture the questions full screen because we don't need the slides anymore. Okay? So that's what we're going to be putting together tonight. And that's the second meetup. The 125 at Vivint we'll set up this way. And the 124 at Ancestry we'll set up just with the Zoom, and you'll see it's pretty easy. And then we won't go into this in too much detail tonight unless you guys are really curious, but that's all I want to do. The Product Hive YouTube channel, let's see. We then come here and we'll upload these into the YouTube channel, and there's all kinds of, the video manager that helps to manage you. I don't know if have you guys done a YouTube channel before?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. So this is where we actually come and upload them to YouTube and get statistics on like how many views people have seen and stuff on it. So
hey, while you're there, you might want to change the text on the Dan Lawyer title. It says "Groaning and Leading Product Leaders with Dan Lawyer." I want to just take that extra in.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, thank you.
Happy to help.
Okay, so, and by the way, when we post the videos, we have it linked here to the Twitter channel for Product Hive as well. So that's the announcements posted at the same time we post it to YouTube. So.
Awesome.
Okay, so let's dive into putting this together. So before we start putting it together, I have a folder that I gather the assets in, okay? So the video, the slides, or the camera, the slides, and the images. So here's the one that I put in the stuff for the Ancestry meetup. So in images, these are the covers that we got from Ben. And oops. So you can see here's the cover that he put together for the Ancestry one. Okay, that's the opening cover. Oh, and you probably, I don't know if you paid attention or not, but this is the one that's in the background when we have the video on, or the camera on the right and the video and the slides on the left. So this is the background for that. Okay. If I cover something and it's not clear, just jump in and ask a question anytime, or if you have suggestions too.
Yep, I'm just staying on mute so I don't bug anybody. I'm listening.
Okay, so those are the images. Then we also captured the slides here for Ancestry. The slides right here. So this was captured from the HDMI recorder. It just has all the slides. But once again, since we didn't get the video of the presenter, we can't really post-produce it, afterwards. But we have the combined video here that has. So this is what Zoom captured, and I noticed that for whatever reason, the beginning of it did not capture any of the camera until it got to about here, and then the camera kicked in. So I don't know. It is what it is. That's what we go with. So that's the combined video. By the way, lots of times the HDMI recorder records 2 gigabit files, 2 gigabyte files, and so lots of times you'll see multiple parts of the slide. So in this case here, there was 2 parts of it. The combined video on this one was the Zoom one. It didn't have that limitation. The camera that was used at the Vivint one, I think, was it 2 or 3 files, something. Anyway, there's a number of files. So we just have to make sure they're in the right order when we bring them into Premiere Pro and type. Okay. This other stuff that's up here, these are Premiere Pro's, or Premiere Pro files, because I went through all this last night doing a dry run just to make sure I knew what I was doing. So normally they won't be in your asset file when you start out. Okay. So let's launch into Premiere Pro. This is the 2017 version, the latest version of Premiere Pro. It looks pretty different than some of the earlier versions. And I'm still trying to figure out where everything is, but I think I like it better. So anyway, if I stumble around a bit, then that's why. So we're going to start a new let's see. Before I dive into this some more, I pinned a document to the Slack channel that is the post-presentation processing. And so it has all of these steps that I'm going to go through tonight. And if you want to, feel free to bring those up on your computer and you can follow along. And if there's something that's like really unclear, we can even edit this document as we go through today, and you can help us make it more clear. So it looks like this one person already has that up.
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay. So where that was pinned was in the Slack channel here, in the YouTube team Slack channel, and it's under pinned items, post-presentation processing. Okay. Any questions about that?
Nope, it's a good reference.
Okay, so we're gonna create the new project, import the assets, create a sequence, anyway, and then go through the stuff on here. So the first one we're gonna do, though, I'm not gonna follow this one too closely because it's the one that did the that we did at Ancestry, where we don't have the camera and the slides. So it ends up all we're gonna do is put the cover at the beginning and cover at the end, and we're done. Okay, that's it. So it's pretty simple. So it's a good one to start out with. So we're going to get a new project here. I'm going to stick it in the machine learning folder, and we'll call it B5 just for fun here. Or sorry, that's I want it in this folder. And we're going to call the title of it that, just so we have it. And then we'll hit OK. By the way, Emmy, Brandon, have you guys used Premiere Pro at all before? Or is this brand new?
I've used it.
Brand new for me.
Same here. I've used iMovie, and that's about my extent of photo editing or video editing.
Okay. Okay, great. And I know Brett's used it before, so so I'll cover this as simply as I can, and then it might be a little bit slow for Brett, but anyway. Premiere Pro is like iMovie in the fact that you can edit videos, but Premiere Pro is to iMovie kind of like Photoshop is to Paint. Okay, it's like really powerful, and there's a steep learning curve, but once you kind of get through that curve, it's like incredibly awesome program. Okay, so this latest version, they've come up with this little bar here at the top, which helps you create layouts in the program to more quickly do the task that you want to do. So when you start out the project, you're assembling it. So they got this assembly one. And then when you're starting to edit stuff, you can come here. And then when you do effects, you can come here. And all they've done is just preset what things are where in these, because you can move these things all around and choose what you want to have where on these screens. And they've just done presets for those. So that's what's happening.
I think that's nice because a lot of times things just felt like they were buried and you just had to memorize where they were.
Mm-hmm. Or crowded, right? You don't have as much room for things.
Right.
Yeah. So what we're going to do first is we're going to bring in their assets, and then we're going to go to the assembly here. So they have this big, huge area for importing media to start out with, so that we can then move them to the timeline area, which is down here. So Emmy, and when you're doing iMovie, the timeline is where you put your pictures and your video and your sounds and stuff, and then you can do it. That'll be pretty familiar to you in the timeline, but that's kind of how you do that. So let's see what I put my assets. They are here. There we go. Over there. That's not it. Might have it buried behind this. There. Okay. Okay, so here is the, so on the images, I'm going to bring in,
Are you just on a separate screen where you're doing the Finder and you're going to pull stuff in? Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I figured.
Yeah, so I'm dropping in here. I can move that screen down here so you can see my guys. So here's my screen. So I'm just taking these here, and so this one here is the first one. That's all we're going to need for this one because we don't need this background one because there's no background on this one. So we'll do that, and then we'll bring in the combined video. So those two are the only ones we're going to need. Okay? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to move both of these to the timeline, and I'm going to follow the same thing. Okay, yeah, so we're just doing the same track. So we'll put the cover down here first. That kind of shows up first. And then we'll put the combined video here after it. Well, so they're down here. So what we've got here, these are tracks. The first three here, it starts out by default with 3 video tracks and 3 audio tracks. You can add more, we can delete them. We're not going to need all these, so I can delete now, track 3 or whatever. So, but as we move through the timeline here for the video, then different things will happen. So like the picture shows up right now for that section, and then you'll see we get into the video and the audio part here. Okay, you can see how that timeline works? No questions on that? Okay, what we're gonna, sorry?
It's pretty simple.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do, though, is we start out with 1 second of black, then we're going to fade into the cover here, and then we're going to cross fade into the video. Okay? That's kind of what we do to start out with. Makes it look kind of cool, professional, and all that. So This number right here is where the playhead is. They call this the playhead. This number tells you where you are in time for the playhead. So I'm going to come over here and say I want to go start at 1 second. And so I can shorthand that by just saying, well, if I came in here, I could say 100 is 1 second. So this is seconds, minutes, hours. These are frames at the end here. So if I say 1 second, I hit enter, the playhead moves to 1 second. We're going to use that as a ruler to start our video at 1 second. And with the cover starting out. Then we want the cover to be 5 seconds long. So if we do our math, where should the playhead be at the end?
6.
6, right. So we'll change it to 6. There's the end of it, and it was almost lined up, but we want this to stretch to match that. So if I just hover over this end here, I can stretch it to 6 seconds. Now we've got a 5-second intro here with it appearing at 1 second and disappearing at 6 seconds. Okay? Then right after that, we want to have the video start, so we'll just drag the video until it starts there. And now, if we watch it, we got the slide or the cover comes on, and then okay, so far so good.
Yep.
It's kind of cool, huh? Okay, so now we're just going to add the effects, which is we want this. This is pretty abrupt, right? Just boom, it's just starting, right? We want to do something cooler there, a little crossfade. And this is pretty abrupt, just boom, starting here. So we want to fade up from black there. So I'm going to switch over to my effects here. And so when I switch to effects, all that's happened here is it's rearranged the screen to give emphasis to different things. So my timeline's still here just like it was before. It's given it a little bit more room. The assets are over here on the left side, just like they were before, but it's a lot smaller because I'm not using them as much, but they still operate the same way. And it's added this little effects panel over here so I can get to my effects when I need to. This area right here is how you modify the effects, how long the effects last, or how much color they change, or positioning, or sound, or things like that, volume. You can change all that in this section over here. So in the post-presentation processing document, I give a little tip here. If we search for cross, actually, let's see. Then we can get crossfade on the audio and cross dissolve here. But I think actually on this first one, yeah, we'll just use crossfade. Crossfade for both of them will work fine. So, or cross dissolve, sorry. So we're going to use cross dissolve here. And what that does is it dissolves from whatever's in front of it to whatever's coming after it. So since we have black before this, I'm just going to, oops. So on this guy right here, I want to dissolve from black into the slide. So I'm just going to grab it and bring it down here to the front of that and drop it. So it says cross dissolve right here. And now just, pretty cool, huh? That looks all professional.
Does it come with sound effects?
Yeah, I can record myself going, whoa, if you want, and you can put that in.
Please.
Okay, so now we want to do the same thing between these two, but instead of transitioning from black, we're going to transition from the slide to the video. So once again, super simple, just take the cross dissolve down here, and we're going to put it right, I can put it here, I can put it, let's see, I want it to be right between those two. Why isn't it doing that? I'm not sure, but, oh, I know why, because there's no video before that. So what's happening here is it's dissolving in like that. Okay. I can edit how that actually works here. If I click on this cross dissolve, I can actually come in here and say, oh, here's where I want to start. I want to start a little bit before, like halfway before, and then move into the other one. And it will just kind of stretch that one out for us. So now this is what we got.
Hey, Brad, do you have any, like, do you care if we faded that one through black instead of just cross dissolving it? Sometimes I just think it's kind of finicky with text cross dissolving itself. like across other text. Sometimes it feels a little messy to me, but that's.
Oh, I see. Yeah, like that. Yeah. Okay, good idea. So let's try that. What we'll do is we'll take out the cross dissolve. So we got rid of the cross dissolve. And so you're saying dip to black?
Yeah.
So there's another video transition called dip to black. And we'll put that one in. And so let's look at that. Or actually, do you want to put it like all the way on the other side? Maybe like that one?
Oh, I don't know.
Let's actually, no, probably not. Let's put it like that.
It'll just put black in the middle, right?
Yeah, you're right. That looks nice. I like that better. Yes, we don't have the overlapping text. Good idea. Cool, huh?
Yeah.
Good suggestion.
I love these tabs that they made there.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. Now we could also, if you notice the volume comes in just right, I mean, there's a little bit of a black here, so we might be okay on it. But if the volume were to start right at the beginning with like clapping and stuff, then it's kind of weird when the picture's fading in, but the volume's not. So we could take a audio transition here, which is crossfade, and put that on the audio if we want to. And kind of make it so it matches the... Not much difference on this one, but anyway.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know about that. I usually just like pulled the levels down or whatever. That's
the timeline.
Transition, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the beginning of it. I think it's looking pretty good there. So we're going to zip to the end here. This is kind of cool. If you haven't seen this before, the way that they do their scroll bar down here is you can move the scroll bar back and forth. And if you want to zoom, this is also your zoom. So this is like zoom way in, and this is zoom way out. So your scroll bar is like taking up the entire length of the video. So what we want to do now is we want to put the cover at the end. Okay, and you can see it's like so thin because the whole video's long. And now if I shorten this down a bit and go to the end, you can actually see it. That looks too short. You can actually see how long it is there. Okay? There we go. So we'll double check the end here to see, is this really what we want it to be like? And Jed, who did the recording before us, he actually trimmed it pretty close to the end, I think, where we wanted. But let's just check it. Oops. Okay, so once again, pretty abrupt right there. So we want to kind of do a fade between these two and have the volume taper off on us there. Okay, so what do you think, Brett? Should we do a dip to black again here?
Yeah, I think so.
I like it. So once again, just take the dip to black.
Or you can dip to white if you're going to a white. You're going from a white slide, but I guess you're going to black, so you might as well go through black, right?
Yeah, it's coming to the, yeah. Okay, so we'll do that, and then we'll put this one here, you can hear the applause just kind of go stop. Right, that didn't sound right. So we'll use our constant power crossfade here, just drop it off. By the way, the ones here that have these blue boxes around them, they're used so much that they warranted a blue box around them just to highlight them. Okay, so by far more.
That's good to know.
So now we've got the sound and the video, so it goes. That's cool, huh? So the last thing to do is we want to make sure that the cover is the right length and then drop off the end. And so in the notes here, it says, scrub it better, trailer. Okay, so we want 5 seconds on the end and then have it drop out. Okay, so we're going to take the playhead and let's see, I'm just going to cheat here. I don't know a good way to do this.
Can you just change the still length and
Yeah.
just say it's 5 seconds?
Oh, do you know how to do that?
I thought that you could just tap on the thing itself and change the still length when it's a still.
I only know how to drag and stuff. So is there like a box I can type it in for 5 seconds?
I thought maybe there was, but I don't know. It seems like that'd be helpful.
Yeah. Oh, how about this?
Speed duration, yeah. Yeah, so you can do that 5.
Cool. Okay. Now, since I moved it, I have to actually put my dip to black back in again. There we go. And then we're going to do a dip to black on the end of this one.
You just want to cross dissolve, right?
Or, oh yeah, cross, yeah, sorry, cross dissolve. Yeah. So we're blacks at the end. Oops. There it is. Okay. So now, let's see how it looks. Huh? So that's that. So we should have been saving all along, but I'm going to save now. Okay. But now all that's left to do is just to export it. And so if I came up here to File, Export, Media, then there's like a zillion different formats you can export to. But all we do is the H.264 up here, and then there's a bunch of presets under it. And one we use is YouTube 1080p HD. And then it sets everything for you, and you don't worry about anything else. And then you just hit the export button, and it exports. This will probably take, it depends on how fast your computer is. I did this last night. It took about, I'll say about 20 minutes or something like that. But I have a pretty powerful graphics card in this computer. So
These settings are documented, right, on the file in Slack?
yes, it tells how to go to the file, export media, set the format to this, and then pull down that one, and then give it a name, and then hit, oh, I forgot to give it a name. The output name is right here. So you can save the name where you want it to go, and then hit export. But yeah, those are all in the document.
Yeah, I see. That's good.
That's right.
Yeah, I got a question on that upload to YouTube. I noticed
okay.
that on the one you were previewing, it said growing, or actually said groaning.
Mm-hmm.
Does YouTube use the title of the file or the title you give it on the, like we'll hover over?
The default is the title of the file, but when you're uploading it, you can change it. And so what I tried to capture in here was notes. This isn't as well documented, but these were just kind of notes about how the format that we use when we put them up there. So yeah, we could probably flesh this one out a little bit better. And this is what I put as my sample title, right? But you type it in. Answer.
Okay. Do you have a preferred format that you like?
So this pound, we talked about this actually quite a bit, but pound and then the number and then the title of it, and then this would be the people involved with it, okay? That's how we've done them. So if you look, let's look at the, good questions by the way.
And along with that, I was going to ask if somebody, like do we talk to the presenters about and have them provide those descriptions, or are we writing those up?
So what I do is I go, in fact, I just noticed something. We changed something on here. We no longer call it design as a team sport dash the thing. I think we started using with.
With, yeah, that's more professional.
Yeah.
Looks like you've got numbers on them, so you include the pound sign.
Yeah, that was a question that I asked before we got the team together. We kind of did a poll between us, and I was like, I don't know, do we want to use that because that hash thing gets used in other places? But Ben thought he liked it, so that's why.
Cool.
It kind of sets it off. So I'd like to try an experiment here real quick. So Emmy, you can see this document right now, right? The post-presentation process.
Yep.
Okay, would you try changing that to with and see what happens? I just want to make sure that you guys can edit it.
What do you mean change the document?
So can do you have this Google Doc up on your computer right now?
I don't have Slack on my or the Slack channel on my computer.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sorry, I boycotted the Product Hive Slack channel because it was getting really disruptive.
I can try to look at that real quick.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. See if you can edit that dash. Let's just see. I want to make sure you guys can edit. You have edit rights.
Thought I had it up, but looks like I don't. Hold on.
Yeah, good questions there, Emmy. And by the way, just because we've done stuff in the past doesn't mean we have to keep doing that in the future. But if you have better ideas, we can put them in. Oh, anyway, the blurb. We're asking where the blurb comes from. What I do is I go to the meetup and I just grab it from here. Whatever Ben puts in is what I grab it from here.
So I'm seeing a pre-presentation document. Let's see if we can get the post one.
There's a pre one, and that talks about how we get the site set up and everything, and then there's a post one as well. So
yeah, I'm not able to edit it.
okay, all right, I'll have to look at that and see what we need to do.
Yeah, it looks like the share settings are anyone with the link can view,
Okay.
but not edit. I mean, you could change it to specific people, but I don't know if anybody's going to fuss with it.
Yeah. You know what? I think I will. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should we make it anyone with the link? Is anyone going to come in, you think, and vandalize it? That'd really suck.
Or you can just put our names on it.
Yeah, you can add us individually.
I think I'll do that. Okay, we'll do that. I'll do that later with all of the documents so that you guys can edit them. Okay. So yeah, we had the post. That's this one. The pre one talks about how to set up the meeting, and then this is how to use the HTML recorder, and then this is the contact info. Okay, good. Good questions. Any other questions that you got on that?
Yeah, one question is that Slack channel a paid channel so that the history won't go away or stuff like that?
Oh, that's a good point.
It is not paid for, so history will be removed. So if you need a guard, if you need to put your your documents into a shared folder, we don't really have a central repository for all Product Hive stuff. However, I could invite you to a Google Drive, which we're using for our other shared documents right now, if that helps.
Yeah, I wonder if we just have a YouTube folder or something like that that's shared out.
So the question I had is that, I know that this history was going to go away because it's not paid, but will these pinned items go away or will they stay there? I thought they'd stay there still.
I don't know. I just wanted to make sure that we don't look up one day and it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say, just to be safe, let's put it into a shared folder. I can share it out. I'll create a folder right now in Google Drive, and I'll share the location, and we can just dump all the final, I would say just final edited. We can have two different folders, one for the YouTube product channel, and then we create separate folders from there for the final versus archive, unless you already have something, Brad.
Yeah, well, actually, this is in the Product Hive Google Drive already in a folder called, I'll show you here. It's
perfect. All right, it's already there.
Yeah, it's already there. So we're trying to think.
We just need to invite Emmy and Brett to it.
Okay.
One other question is, do we want to use that as a way to collect the video files if somebody's not able to be there in person? Or I don't know if you already have a system for that.
We do. In fact, we are doing that too. You guys we're all thinking the same. So let me show you how that works. So let me go to my
And if that's something you want to cover at another time, that's fine.
No,
that was a question.
this is no problem. So this is the Product Hive shared Google Drive folder. And so we made this folder called videos, which we could probably change now to YouTube team because we didn't have a YouTube team when we created this. But inside here, see, these are the documents I pinned, and I pinned them from here. So they are the exact documents that are in here. so whatever we change here will show up in the Slack channel immediately.
That's great. And I think just calling it videos is probably fine too.
Okay. And then these up here is where we were gathering assets, see, when we needed to from different people. So on this one here, for instance, I think, I can't remember if it was, who's doing that one. But anyway, so the idea was that if different people had different assets, they could put them here, and then someone else could do post-production later. You know, if someone was filming and someone else was doing post-production, you could use them in here. The problem is, of course, that the Google Drive's limited on space, and these are really big files, you know, in the gigs, right? So, so we can't keep all of them in here. So we just put them in here until we finish the video, and then we'll delete them out. So that's kind of what we were using this for. Okay.
Okay. And do they, understandably, we can't like really keep stuff as a repository, right? So if like what if, do speakers ask for like the raw videos and stuff like that, or do they care? Do they just usually just want to see the YouTube thing and use that?
Yeah, we've never had the speakers ask for any of the video actually, which I think would be nice to give them. You know, Brandon, we want to think about that is that when we're done with it, you know, say, hey, you know, do you want us to send you a copy of the file so you have it?
Right.
And I think
right.
that would be a nice gesture. But we did have a conversation about whether and how to keep the raw data files. We obviously can't keep them in Google Drive because they take up too much space. I like to keep the raw files just because, you know, you might want it for something else in the future. So we didn't really come up with a great way of doing that. I've been keeping them on my drive. That's probably not scalable, but anyway, so it's something we could figure out in the future together.
I mean, we could just get a disk or something, right? I mean, a removable storage or whatever, a USB drive or something like that. But.
Yeah, the trick is just where to put it, right? So that if different people are doing different things,
right.
How do we get it to there when we're done? That's the bigger challenge. So anyway, think about that. Go from there. Okay, any other questions?
Nope.
Okay, this is great. Okay, so I'm going to do a time check here real quick. We went through this, we kind of the basic stuff on here. I was hoping to go through the other one just so I could show you how you do the effects and stuff like that, but you know, we're at 10 o'clock right now, so do you want to try and do that? Or do you want to say, oh, you kind of got the idea, or what do you guys want to do?
I've got 10 to 10, right? Or 9
right.
minutes to 10.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind flying through and just seeing the way you do the one, the combining effect.
Okay. We'll go through.
How everybody else feels, but.
If people want to see it, then I'll stay here and do it. And if you guys need to drop off, it's right at 10. If you have something else like going to sleep or something, I don't know. You can.
Do you guys do that?
Okay, so I'm going to start Premiere Pro again because we're going to do a new project. So I'm going to kind of just talk out loud as I'm doing these things here, and we'll zip through it pretty quickly. So if you're like, oh, wait a minute, what was it you did right there? Then just stop me and I'll go over it more. So we're going to do the new project here. We're going to store this one in the AI first one. And so we're going to name it the video, this thing. Dive again just because I don't want to conflict. By the way, just a note, if you guys are interested in doing Premiere Pro and have access to it, and especially if you're looking at like what computer to run it on, or if you're looking at buying a new computer, whenever I buy a computer at all, desktop, laptop, whatever, this is what I'm looking for right here, is a computer that has a video card that's compatible with the Mercury playback engine, because this offloads all that video processing. You know, I was scrolling through the timeline and all that. It offloads it to the GPU, the graphics card, and it is a huge difference. What you're seeing me do editing here, I can do all of the effects in real time just by scrubbing on them. Sometimes, especially when you get to more complicated effects, if you don't have a Mercury Playback Engine accelerated GPU, then you can't do that. You have to pre-render them and then you can do it. And it's really complicated. So.
Do the recent Macs all kind of have that?
No. Very well, I don't know. There's Adobe supporting more and more video cards all the time, but there's a fairly small number of video cards that are actually fully supported for that, and you have to look for them. So usually, like on the Mac line, my experience in the past has been that if you get the high-end Macs, then they put the better video cards in those, and they can support it, but the low-end ones don't. And that's true with any computer. The Windows are the same way. In fact, it's probably even more so on Windows that you have to get a pretty beefy computer to have the video card come standard on it. But usually you can get like a medium range computer and then just specify, oh, I want the extra option for the NVIDIA card instead of the built-in Intel card. And that's what it takes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fine. I just got a October 2016 MacBook Pro that I was just wondering if it had that.
Yeah, so you can check on.
Let's just. I'm in Premiere Pro and I'm scrubbing through some videos, but I don't know if.
Okay.
Anyway, let's just move on so we can kind of get through this.
Yeah. Okay. You can Google on Premiere Pro CUDA cards, and you'll get the full list. Adobe keeps a list.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So first step is I'm going to bring up my notes here because I don't always remember this either. This notes are as much for me as anyone. Okay, so I'm going to import the assets. So here is the cover. So this time I'm going to import the, before I do that, let me jump back over to my assembly window. So here's the cover. Here's the background, which we will need this time. And then, so you can see, there's actually 5 video files that have the images of the people in them. So I'll bring those in. And 2 of them for the slides. Okay. So there we go. Got the assets in. Now we're going to create the new sequence. What I recommend doing is putting the background. This is all in the documentation. So I'm going to put the background, this thing here, on track 1 because the things on higher tracks up here will show up on top of the things on lower tracks. So since it's a background, then it's in the background. Okay. Okay, move that over. And then the next thing is we're going to put the slides on track 2. So I'm going to take those guys and just kind of move them in here on track 2 roughly right now. And then we'll take the video, or sorry, the cover first, put it on track 3, followed by the video on track 3. Okay, so I kind of just roughed it in there.
So when you grab those, they'll take the numerical order and put them in, but they butt them all together.
Yep.
That's awesome. Okay.
Okay. So our first thing is we want to make this 5 seconds. So I'm going to use the cool new 5-second duration thing that Brent taught me. And we're going to put it at 1 second on the timeline to start out with. There we go. So we now have our cover ready to go there. 5 seconds long together. Then we're going to take the video. Here, grab all the video and just write that on Let's see, I think if I do, I think there's a way to select the whole track, but I can't remember how to do it. I already told you guys I'm not a Premiere Pro expert, so that's okay. So we'll just move that to the end there. And then I'm going to switch over to our effects view, and I'm going to put in the dip to black, which is what we're doing now. I like that. Oh, you know what I forgot to do before I did that? We need to figure out where we want the movie to start. So we've got all this stuff at the beginning about, you know, all that stuff. And based on the discussion we had, we're going to cut out all that. We're just going to start when the speaker starts.
Yeah, I like that. We can get announcements through the channel if they want.
Ben's talking a lot. What's on that?
We were trying to get a mic, remember?
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so the speaker starting right about here is Gavin. Now, by the way, you'll see here we're having some problems with the camera guy was, and so we got a little bit of chopped off head, but you know, hey, it's what it is. And if you look behind him, you'll see right there, that switch to the page right there. That's where we can do our little keying to make sure we make the slides line up. So right now we're just trying to figure out where to start this. So probably about right here where he's walking in. That'd be kind of nice to do that little black transition as he's walking in, maybe. Like that. So let's try that. We'll move this here down there. And I'm just going to move this one for right now.
So you're just pulling the left edge to kind of crop the video.
Yeah, if you just grab either edge here, then it will just roll it over to where it is and crop it. So.
And you could do that in the editor before you pull it in, right? Like you could edit the clip before you bring it onto the timeline too, right?
Probably. I don't know how to do that.
I think you just do in and out points, and then when you pull it in, it respects those in and out points. Anyway.
Probably. I understand what you're saying, but I haven't done it that way, so I don't know.
No worries.
Okay, so we're going to do our little black here and just see how this looks. On him, we're going to do our cross audio. So it does the little fade up on the audio right there. And we're going to do our little cross dissolve on this guy. So that looks. I think that looks pretty good, huh?
Yep.
Okay, so now here, this part here is the coolest part, and this was a total pain to deal with until we figured this out. So here's the coolest part. We get all the videos here where we want them to be, right? Okay. What I meant to do is this. Okay. So the tricky part is like, how do we deal with the if we want to modify the video when it's inside the other video, right? When it's small and stuff like that. So here's what you do. If you grab all these video ones here and you right click in it, then you can say, I want to nest them. And what that does, we're going to call this a nested camera. And what that does is it makes like a timeline out of those sequences. Okay? So I can actually, this acts like one video clip now, but if I zoom into this, there's the timeline for it. And I can edit this timeline, and whatever I edit in this timeline shows up as this one video here. Okay? That's really cool. Okay?
Yep.
Okay, so that means then that now when I'm doing the positioning and the size and everything of this video, all I have to deal with is this one clip, and I can do the effects on it, and it handles everything else inside of it. So anyway. Okay, so done that. Okay, we've already done the transitions. Okay, so now the slide. Oh, you know what? What I said to do in the instructions was to do that first and then put the transitions in it, because I just wiped out the transitions. Yeah, see the crossfades are done because it's now a different timeline, I think, unless they're dead inside. Yeah, so they're gone. So I got to put those back. So if you follow the processing document, it tells you to do them in the right order, which I didn't do in this one. You get the idea. Okay,
So would you include the still image?
the still being the background one?
Yeah, because oh, so you're saying you just have to do the nest and then you're just going to transition to that now after you've done that. Okay, got it.
So the slides, I'm going to do the same thing with the slides and nest them. Actually,
do you need to align them first? Or
so that's a good question. Let me see. What did I do? I do that a little later after it's nested. So let's nest those. Okay, so now we got our camera and our slides. And then we're going to set the slide view and position. So now, Emmy, this is how we do effects on these, like positioning and things like that. So I'm going to select the slides here, and the slides, and by the way, this turns off the top one so you can see what's going on. So I just turned off that top track right there. So you can see the slides now. They're always going to be small and on the right. So the position here, I've got this documented. It's always 610, 525, and the size is going to be 60%. Cool. So that's right, we want that to be. Now, so since we already have the background at this first part here, it's already in place, but I haven't stretched it out yet, so you can see the background goes away. Background is on track 1, so I'm just going to break it way out here. So now we want it to hang out until somewhere around here for now. Does that make sense? So we have that background there. Now it's behind our slides the whole time. Yay. Okay, then now we need to get the slide in sync with the others. So we're going to hide the video track, which we've already done. See the slide view. Scrub the playhead to the first frame where the first slide change occurs. Okay, so that was that piece of paper he was holding up. So it's right there. There's the paper. Okay, so I'm going frame by frame now just by using the arrow keys. So I get to the beginning of where he actually hit the clicker. Come on. When you shift arrow keys, it goes faster. Okay, I'll come back. Okay, so right there, that's the first frame that has the paper on it in the slides. Okay, so now what we want to do is make it so the video lines up with that. Let's see. Okay, so temporarily we're going to take this and just bring it up to the playhead. Okay. We're going to turn back on the camera now. And we're going to scrub to now, where is the first place where that piece of paper flipped on? It's going to be here to the front. So right there. So. Okay, so see that right there? That's where you flip the paper. So now that's where it's lined up. So now if I drag this over to where the playhead is, then they should be in sync. Okay, so that's how we do that. So yeah, so we probably want to just go to split screen then before here. So I'm going to go back. Let's see where we go to split screen. So we're going to need to do it before there. So before a few quick things. So we'll probably do it while he's saying thank you for coming to visit. Maybe like this right here.
Either way, it could be when, I mean, I think that paper's up for a while. So,
okay.
And that's kind of it's kind of a it's not actually part of his talk. It's just about
oh yeah, good point.
Just the survey.
Okay, so maybe we should do it later.
When he goes back to his first slide again after that would be a good time to pull back in because he goes back to the front slide again.
Yeah, good idea. Okay, good. That's why you UX guys can make things look better than I can. You have an eye for that. Okay. So you think here, or do you think we should go when he starts going into the first slide? What do you think?
Maybe when he goes into that. Well, I don't know. I can't hear the audio, so I don't really know what he's.
Oh, you can't hear that when I play that?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think whenever you feel like he's starting his talk after he puts the survey away.
Okay, so right here he's kind of set it up, and then he's just getting ready to start into his thing. So I think here is a good place.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go. This is where we were going to start the split screen view. So the nice thing is then is we're going to select the camera clip here, and we're going to set. So Emmy, the way that this works for the effects is this up here is a mini timeline, and we tell it at a certain point we want it to be a certain way. So, and then in the future, we want it to be a different way, and then it does everything in between those. It calculates everything for us. And we do that with what are called
keyframes?
Keyframes, thank you. Keyframes. So we're going to do position and scale. So we're going to turn on the keyframes here, and that marks the size and position of this video right now, which is full screen. Okay.
So you turn those on just by clicking on them, right?
Right, but there's little stopwatch things here.
Okay.
Okay. So that means at that point in time, right where we have the playhead, we want to be full screen in that position. Then we are going to move forward 2 seconds and put another keyframe where it's going to be the smaller size and position. So if I just move forward 2 seconds, so 13, 14, 15. Okay, so now he's here. Now, these little guys here are how you add or remove keyframes after you turn them on initially. We turn them on, it sets one initially. So I'm going to set these keyframes 5 seconds later, or 2 seconds later, sorry. And then at this point here, I want the position to be 1550, 460, and the size to be 35%. Okay? So now, if I just back up a little bit. Backed up too far. Let's see what it is. Okay, see how that works? Pretty cool.
Yep.
And then at the end of it, we just do the other, to bring it back the other way. You know, the trailer just, we set 2 keyframes at the end, and then we just bring him back to the full screen again. It's kind of cool. Does that kind of give you an idea of how to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just gotta try and remember all of that. It's not a very hard interface.
Yeah, it's really nice. Once you start getting used to it, there's like so much you can do with it, and there's so much you can do with it that I don't know.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
If you hit the stopwatch again, does it blow out your keyframes?
I think so.
Yeah. Seems like After Effects did
What
that.
does that mean?
I mean, I think it might have just killed all your keyframes. So you hit the stopwatch the first time to add keyframes, and then you hit the other one to add additional ones. But don't hit the stopwatch again, otherwise it'll delete all your keyframes. But
it actually came up with a warning now, so that's nice.
Yeah.
And by the way, Emmy, these little arrows right here let you go between keyframes. So if you're like, oh, I want to change that first one, I can just go back to here and change it.
Oh, okay.
Or go to the next one. Yeah, here's that
Okay, so
one.
you don't need to unclick, turn those on and off. Okay, that's what I would have done actually.
Yeah, this just means I want for position and scale to start using keyframes, but not for rotation or for anti-flicker filter or opacity or anything like that. So,
okay, then you can move forward, and then how do you add another keychain or a
keyframe? So if I'm up here, this little dot in the middle lets you add them.
okay.
Like, I want to add one there, or one on the position 2. You don't. And you can remove just by clicking on like that. And I think that's where the video editing gets kind of fun, is we can start doing these cool effects on them, and then keyframing what you want them to actually do. It's kind of fun. It's got a whole bunch of effects.
Yeah, I mean, keyframing really is the basis of all the motion graphic stuff that you see with After Effects and all that stuff. It's tons of fun.
Yeah, I think a lot of that keyframing, like on iMovie, is down on the timeline itself. But it's kind of
Yeah.
it's kind of magnified the area.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in general, you do the video at first, or do the intro slide in the video, and then you do the 2 slides next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then when do you come back out? I probably should just go watch the YouTube channel.
Yeah, so usually at the end when they say, and that's all I've got, or and just before they start questions is usually what we do. Or if for some reason there's really no reason to reference the slide anymore, they've been on the last slide for a long time, you can bring it out before then. So just whatever.
Very cool. What's your do you have Google Analytics or any kind of analytics on the videos?
So we have all of the stuff that's built into YouTube. So we go over here to my channel, and there's the statistics on it. So we've got all this stuff.
That's cool. Okay, I was just curious what your reach is. Obviously, it can go beyond Product Hive.
Right, yeah, it's because these are all public, so people can search on them and stuff. So you can see how many views and minutes each of these people have watched. So it's grown actually quite a bit since we started doing this. We broke 100 subscribers sometime. Let's see, how many do we have now? I don't know where it is. But anyway, that was kind of cool when we broke 100 subscribers. Looks like we have a following in Australia. 14% is in Australia.
Interesting.
So yeah.
How would they know if they're male or female? Okay, I guess if they're logged into Google.
Yeah, it's Google. They know everything.
That's true.
This is interesting. We have something that was embedded in an external website. Like 1%. Yeah. So that's what we have on it.
Cool.
Awesome.
One last thing, and then we'll wrap it up. But if you notice right here, like he's got his head cut off and stuff like that. If he was like way over on one side and you wanted to center him, or if he's really small and you wanted to zoom in on him or something like that, then what's really nice is you can go into the nested one and do that here. And it's just like you're editing just like the full screen, right? And then whatever you do here, like you could zoom in and crop his head or something like that, right? And it would, let me just do that real quick. So if I said, oh, let's make this, where's this? Zoom really in. I really care about his watch. I want that to be in the middle, right? Or something like that. Then when you go back to the main one here, it's all zoomed in just like that, right? And you didn't have to futz around with how do I make that zoom in and still keep that position and all that. So that's kind of a nice trick.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll ask, do either of you want to do one of these videos to be able to try it out and upload them this time? Or do you want me just to do both of them and you could try one in the future if you wanted to? Or what are your thoughts?
I would just say finish them up and upload them.
Okay.
For the future, if that's good, I'm going on vacation and I think I've got a good feel for it, and there's this video to reference. But
okay.
If you want to do it, I think that's.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm kind of afraid to, but I need to just try it. Yeah, I'd like to watch this recording over again because I feel like I missed the nested camera view and how you created that. But I can go back over this recording and figure out how to do it.
Okay, and the document too has how to do it step by step as well. So, maybe what we'll do is I'll bang this one out, these two out, and get them uploaded so we have them. But I can get a copy of these assets to you, and you could try it on this exact. Well, actually, I have a confession on this one. This one would be a hard one to do, and the reason why is because there's a point in his presentation where he bumps his computer, and it goes like to the Mac background screen. Like somewhere in here, right there.
You probably want to undo that zoom too before you get too far ahead of yourself.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back and I'll do the whole thing. But he bumps his computer, and I thought that the slide stopped recording, so I went to go hit recording again. You remember, Brent? You were sitting next to me.
Yep.
And so I stopped the recording. I actually stopped it instead of restarting it, and then I restarted it again. So there's a gap in the slides that has to be accounted for to get the slides back in sync again. And so that's a little tricky because you actually have to take part of the slide that's a video and say, oh, stretch just this part over this area. And so anyway, this would be a hard one to do that for, but the next one's probably going to be a little cleaner. So we can give you those. You can play with them, see how they work on it, and try it out.
Amy, one way to think about that nested thing is just it's like a symbol. You just got the object there that's all self-contained, and then when you go.
Yeah, it makes sense. I missed where he was clicking on the screen.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Yeah, it's just right-click on it. Next.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Yeah. Sorry, I've been watching the interface. I'm like, I can't see anything on there. Okay. Hey, is there a published schedule of like just dates you guys are going to do future activities?
So all I know about are I think that there's a lot of discussions with people about, oh, can you do it on this day? Can you do it on that day? And as soon as they have something locked down, they put it on the meetup. And so I kind of think they're still in a lot of discussions right now because I don't know of any others that are scheduled right now. Ben has said that he wants to do them every 2 weeks, but I haven't seen the next one come up yet. So.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, like, with family and evening activities, I might be better at the post-production part of it because I'm trying to figure out how to actually attend some of these events.
Yeah, the nice thing about post-production is you can be the first one to watch it.
That's right.
Yeah, and summer is going to be hit or miss, I think, for a lot of people. So I wouldn't doubt maybe they're a little less frequent during the summer. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, it's just kind of knowing ahead of time when they're happening so I can arrange my schedule.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, awesome. This has been great. So if you guys don't have any other questions, we'll wrap it up, and we'll take the recording of this video, and it'll be we'll make it available too, so you guys have it for the YouTube team.
Yeah, thanks, Brad.
Yeah, that was really helpful. Helpful to me too.
Okay, and this is, by the way, all this process you're seeing here today, it is not done yet, right? This is just where we're at today. So you guys get to help contribute to what it will be like in the future, and we'll just keep getting better and better, right? So.
Yeah.
Very
Cool.
good. Yeah, if you've got any more videos or how-to tutorials on Adobe Premiere.
So the way I learned most of it was, there's two ways. One is I use lynda.com because they have got an extensive library on really good videos on how to get started on it. So I don't know if you have do you have a Lynda's access to that at all?
I can probably get one.
Do you, do you live in Salt Lake County?
Yeah.
I know if you get the Salt Lake City Library card, maybe they have it through Salt Lake County Library, but through the Salt Lake City Library card, they give you free Lynda access. I did this.
Oh, yeah, I think I'd heard of that before. I should go check it out.
Lynda, I agree. The Lynda video things are good.
Yeah, it can be kind of expensive if you have to actually pay full price for it. So, you know, if your work, sometimes like my work, they have like a license for it, and so I can just use it. They've licensed it for all the employees at BYU. It's like, I don't know how many concurrent usage, like 2,000 or something. But a lot of companies do that just for the training for their employees, or the library card's a good way too. So that's the first way. The second way, and I do this all the time, and it's amazing how well it works. I'll like say, you know, I'll just Google it. How do you do this? And there's a video on it on how to do something specific, right?
Agreed.
So.
Okay, I'm getting sleepy.
All right, guys. Well, thanks very much. We'll wrap her up, and we'll talk some more in the future.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Brad. Thanks, Sammy. Thanks, Brandon.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.